What's good, party people? This is a very special Coordinator Woods as we are on location at an undisclosed location.
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed. Maybe even parts unknown.
Right.
Ooh, here you go. But he is a Southern California pro wrestling renaissance man. He ring announces. He referees. Commentates. I mean, just all over the place.
I even might be Santa. You don't know.
Hey, Kiss Fizz, kid.
Oh,
Kiss Fizz.
right.
I'm just saying. He's the one and only Adanan Kureishy. Adnan, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Woods. And wherever Woods is, things has got to be good, right?
Or dark and scary, and there might be a bear.
That's well, it's fine.
That's no hero there.
Just play dead. It's fine. Or make yourself seem really big. That's also what I've learned about trying to avoid bears.
Lars Sullivan is what you're saying. That's what we're doing.
Well, he might be a bear.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Not West Hollywood bear, but
no.
Anyway.
Jeez.
In any event, dude, thank you for joining me here.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be doing an interview just in general. So so hopefully 7, 8 people might watch when you're interviewing me.
You know what? And then there's another 20. So we got 28. Carry the one.
Oh, okay.
Probably 100 people will watch.
Oh, okay,
right?
good.
Yeah.
That's great.
At the very least, there might be somebody in Tupelo, right?
Right.
But
well, great greetings to all 6,219 people who are watching
in Tupelo,
Mississippi.
Absolutely, right on, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But dude, how did you become kind of involved in wrestling? First off, what made you a fan of the sport, the greatest sport that there is?
It's funny. The first thing I ever saw, as far as pro wrestling is concerned, is I remember being a little kid and flipping through the channels one day, and I can tell you the first wrestler I ever saw, but I couldn't tell you the context of it. I can tell you the first wrestler I ever saw was Doink the Clown, and I just remember flipping through channels going, why is this clown beating people up? And it was a very strange thing, and I don't remember much else about that. Right. The first actual match I remember watching was, I think it was in '97. It's whenever it was that it was the Raw main event, and it was Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels versus British Bulldog and Owen Hart for the tag team titles when Austin and Shawn won the tag titles. And I remember being I don't know what this is, but this is awesome. And then that kept me watching from then on. But I remember that's the first match I ever saw where I just kind of got hooked.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, the Hearts and kind of that whole Calgary crew kind of have a special place in my heart.
Yes.
In the sense that
you were telling me, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the first match that I ever saw, I was born. We're gonna break kayfabe here. Sorry, Sean Oliver, but I was born in '85, and 1987, the first and only match to date, it was Randy Savage versus one half of the Hart Foundation.
Okay.
Bret the Hitman Hart, with flanked by Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Jimmy Hart, and even Honky Tonk Man. Speaking of Tupelo,
the Honky Tonk Man,
right? The Tupelo concession brawl, but they were against Savage, and that was my first, combat sports anything. And the crazy thing about it was every time that Bret and Owen would go to the ring, we'd hear either prior to this kind of generation, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan,
right,
and then later Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler talking about Stu and Helen Hart, and how Stu would, at certain times of the year, stretch the heck out of football players, bodybuilders, and even one time of the year when the Calgary Stampede came in, a wrestling bear, and he'd make the bear go to sleep. And I was like, that's cool. Superman is whatever, and he flies and stuff, but I want to choke out a bear.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, so
maybe one day you'll choke out Superman.
That might be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Or Shitty Superman.
Who knows?
That might be a thing.
Who knows?
Oh, but he's going through a gimmick change. I mean,
he got. Well, I don't know. Yeah, Shitty Superman. We don't know about Shitty Superman now because he got frying panned at the.
Yeah. You might want to check out Wrestling Pro Wrestling on Twitch right now.
Also on YouTube. YouTube.com/Wrestling Pro Wrestling. Check out Turkey Mania 2, Turkey Harder. You might see a very handsome Santa Claus.
Yeah, in a cage.
Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's Santa.
He
man.
is pretty.
Yeah, he is pretty good looking Santa.
I would say so.
Yeah.
But so I mean, from that seminal match, you're talking about 4 of the all-time greats. We're talking Austin, Michaels, Hart, and Bulldog.
Yes.
And Bulldog and Hart, the tag team champions, part of Camp Cornette. Yeah, you know.
Looking back in the days when Cornette was saying that Owen Hart can be at ringside because Owen Hart got his state manager's license.
Yes, absolutely. Because you got to keep your kayfabe, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But from there, I mean, was that enough of an impression where you followed it, you know, kind of throughout into the Attitude Era, or did you kind of fall out?
No, I didn't fall out until like. I never really had a pro wrestling fallout where I stopped watching pro wrestling. I've been watching pro wrestling ever since then.
Yeah.
There was a time where I stopped watching WWE and was only watching at the time TNA because I was tired of what was going on between like I forget if it was like 07 to 08 or something. I was just watching TNA for a while.
Yeah.
I remember I've always been watching pro wrestling. I never went through that. Like some people feel like they outgrow it and then they come back to it.
Right.
I never went through that period. I've always been watching pro wrestling since then, basically.
Oh, that's amazing, man. So the transition from a fan to a person that's, I mean, deeply involved in the Southern California scene, how does that transition come about?
Man, like, it's still weird to me even, because I'm still... In reality, I've only been doing this like a little over a year now. Because the first time I was booked to do something on a show was November 4th, 2017. And we are doing this in December of 2018. So it's just been a touch over 1 year.
Wow.
And so I'm still going through certain parts of that transition, but it's been interesting. Like, because now it's like, oh, I know certain things and I don't talk about these things. But it's like, okay, and it's the coolest thing, at least for me, is watching a show get put together. Basically watching, like, or in my case, like being involved when I help put together the ring too, or like when we look at what we're going to do with the show, what the goal is of the show, where we're going to try and get to with the show, because now I've been involved and watched, like, internally seeing stories change from what you set out to do to where you want to get to, and then even beyond, because pro wrestling is just one story that's continuous throughout, you know, the end of time. Like, you end certain arcs, it's like Dragon Ball, you end the arc, but it's still going to keep going.
It's kind of like a mathematical equation of pi. There's a pi here, and
there is a pi
here. Yeah, I don't want to drop it, but that was my crescendo there. But I digress. So, I mean, you hooked up with Santino Brothers. I mean, that's arguably the quintessential, pro wrestling school here in Southern California.
Look at how many rookies of the year they keep producing. Look how many stars they keep producing. Look at who you've seen from Santino Brothers this year. Brody King just got signed to Ring of Honor. Jake Atlas just had a WWE tryout. Heather Monroe was on Ring of Honor and Impact earlier in the year and wrestled in China. Ruby Reyes just debuted at Impact. Like, Eli Everfly just pinned The Miz not too long ago. This is all Santino's.
And then, I mean, honorable mentions. We got to talk about the Relentless one, the Pizza Eater,
Doug
James. Relentless Doug James.
We got to talk about trainer, because you have Joey Chaos there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Robbie Phoenix as trainer. Sylvia has been doing, who does a lot of stuff, with what she's doing, and then Tyler Bateman, who's one of the head trainers there too, who's just kicking ass everywhere he is too.
Sarah Wolf. All Santino folks, and it's kind of a crazy pedigree. I would even want to go back, kind of one of the first kind of training classes that I knew of. I mean, we were talking the Urban Juggernaut, Sean Black. We were talking the Bloodthirsty Vixen, Mariah Moreno. I mean, that was kind of like the first real kind of workers to kind of break through out of this Santino class, and it's just gotten better and better. Almost every year.
It's always top tier quality talent. Like, you look at guys who are just breaking and making names for themselves nowadays, like Lucas Riley or Alonzo Alvarez, who just did the Young Lions Cup and the APW. Dom Kubrick and Matt Vandegrift making strong waves everywhere they're going. Eva Van, Simone Cherie, who's about to be part of the new WoW show.
Wow, right?
Yeah. She's going to be there, as well as Sarah Wolf. She's also going to be a part of WoW too.
Whoa! That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
And shout out to both Keita Rush and Dagger, some of my friends at WoW. So. Yeah, that's going to be cool that they're involved, man.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of really cool things have been happening in pro wrestling just in general, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a bit of a, like, in all honesty, pro wrestling has been in a bit of a renaissance over the last few years just in general, and SoCal has been a thriving part of that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we're like you alluded to, you've kind of been at this for a little over a year.
Yes.
You know, there has to be some cool moments that, you know, has kind of hallmarked your career to this juncture where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Talk to us about some of those.
I mean, probably like one of the biggest defining moments for me was becoming the ring announcer for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, which I didn't expect that to happen at least as quickly as it did. Because I remember helping out there really early in my classes at Santino Brothers, you know, just going to help out, you know, paying whatever dues, like, you know, I'm, you know, always paying dues, doing ring crew over there, seeing how the TV gets put together and whatnot, and like, all right, cool. And then I remember one of the next times that I went, I remember talking to senior referee Nick Bonanno, who I'd worked with one other previous time at Santino Brothers, actually. He was refereeing a show with us, and then he asked me, like, hey, what do you think? What do you? It's like, because you know, you shake everyone's hand in pro wrestling. Always shake everyone's hand. You know, on your way in, on your way out, shake everybody's hand. And then, like, I remember, you know, shaking Nick's, seeing Nick available at that point. You know, it's just like, this is one of the first times first few times I was there. Not the first time, but one of the early times I was there helping out, and then shaking Nick's hand, and he's all like, hey, what are you trying to do? I'm like, wrestling? And like, he's like, no, in wrestling. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a manager character. I've been trying to commentate. I've been ring announcing. I've been commentating and ring announcing. I can referee if you need, stuff like that. He's like, all right, cool. Yeah, we are looking for a new ring announcer right now. So next time, if you want to bring your suit, we might give you a trial. I'm like, oh, and I had my suit on me, because another thing you learn in pro wrestling, always have your gear, because you never know when you're going to get booked. So basically, I had a suit with me, and I did the 2 dark matches that they had on that particular set of tapings. And then they had Carl Mandrick. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Because I met him once only, but I remember, you know, Carl helped me out that day too by giving me a lot of tips and pointers just in general. So it was really good to both do the dark matches and then sit there and then like get some feedback from like a ring announcer who's been doing it longer than me. Right. You know, and he helped me out. And I'm like, cool. Then one of the upcoming tapings after that, they gave me an actual set of episodes to do. They liked what I did, and then they liked how I did it, and then they just kept me as their permanent ring announcer from then on.
Wow. And I mean, I guess, how long have you been in that position thus far?
Since, as officially as part of them would have been like in May, would have been the first time I did it, because then earlier, because the tryout, the dark matches I did were in April, but then like May was the first set of episodes that I had taped with them, and in which case those would start airing. So yeah, wow. I'm like, my episode, like the first episode I'm on is around like the Wenzhou China episode, around that set of episodes. I just don't remember which episode exactly. And
I mean, you talked about resurgence of sorts in the Southern California and indie scene.
Yes.
But I mean, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood is arguably gotten the biggest shine due to Billy Corgan's involvement in the NWA and literally being one of the staple shows to showcase NWA talent. And you can see that on 10 Pounds of Gold
which I've been on. It's because they air the NWA matches, a lot of them that we shoot over there. Right. So it's not even like how big this opportunity became in the aspect of like, cool, I'm on television. That's great, and not even just that, but like I met Billy Corgan a couple of times.
Wow.
You know, because he's there to oversee sometimes. Like when we have the NWA title there, we just had the national champion Willie Mack. Just, you know, he's been defending the title there as well. So I've had the privilege of being the ring announcer for NWA World Title and NWA National Title matches, which have appeared on the NWA's YouTube channel, which was just an extra bonus as far as like the opportunity that I got being there. You know. So it's all about partnerships. So the NWA is really kind of showcased, like it all being about partnerships. Their partnership with us, like our partnerships with them, and like Ring Warriors and such, and with Ring of Honor. And we just recently had a partnership with the New Japan Pro Wrestling LA Dojo, because we had some of the their young lions from the LA Dojo wrestle at the last Championship Wrestling from Hollywood event.
Right, and there was a meet and greet with
Shibata.
Shibata.
We had Katsuyori Shibata.
The wrestler.
Katsuyori Shibata. He was there as well at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood to do a meet and greet, and then he showed up to watch the young lions wrestle, like you've seen on the California Dreamin' documentaries on New Japan, where he's watching the young lions wrestle. He did that at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and that's been a trip.
Wow.
That's just in general, just the stuff that's happening, and that's not even the only place that I've had these weird things happen, because that's just cool that I've now, after December 21st, which will be Brody King's Bah Humbug, get your tickets now, the last Santino Brothers show of the year, I will been commentating on the Santino Brothers show for the entire year, on top of the first one I did last December and November. So there's that. Pro wrestling has been just a hell of a lot of fun. It's one of the most fun promotions I think you can take anybody to, especially if they've never been to a wrestling show, or if they don't really have a huge interest in wrestling. Pro Wrestling, I think, is the best show to take a non-wrestling fan or a first-time wrestling goer, because it's so weird, wacky, and
and shout out to Destroyer 2, man. We don't really like Destroyer 1. Let's start some heat here.
Right.
But Destroyer 2.
Oh, Devastator 2?
Devastator 2.
Devastator 2. Yeah.
He's a badass.
I thought you were talking about the super strong machine.
Oh yeah. No. I would never talk smack about them. You see how large those guys are?
Yeah, you're right. No.
That's where I can do the Ric Flair begging in the corners and whatever.
Brother, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, man, you've had a pretty stellar banner year thus far. You know, December to December.
Yeah.
What do you hope to accomplish in the next year?
Man, that's the thing, because I just want to work at more promotions. Cause so far I've been Hollywood, Santino Brothers, Wrestling Pro Wrestling, and LA Lucha, which is in a burgeoning promotion with a lot of really good stars. So it's more just next year. It's just more so hope of just getting more places.
Yeah.
Where I'm doing is great, and I like what I'm doing, but I could be doing more. So basically, if you're willing to book an Adnan Kureishy, you can always DM me at Twitter at @the_Adnan, or you can email my booking email at bookhandsomehassan@hotmail.com, which is my old manager gimmick that hasn't never been used. But if you want to use it on your show, that'd be great. So it's just a matter of for 2019, it's maintain what I'm doing and then adding to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really what it's just build and build and build. You know? And the road's already taken me to places I didn't think I would get to in the time that I've already gotten there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then who knows? Because my dream is to do what Kevin Kelly does. My dream is to call New Japan.
Wow.
That's the dream. I don't know how I can make that happen, but
we're putting it out there as we stand here in December 2018. So
okay. We'll see what happens.
We have to check back at you the same time next year and see where you're at.
All right.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
But again, how can people find you on social media and otherwise?
So on social media and otherwise, Twitter at @the_Adnan. You can kind of find my dormant Twitter also for my character at Handsome Hassan K. If you want to follow that, nothing really is going on there. But at @the_Adnan on Twitter is also at @the_Adnan on Instagram. I have an old dormant YouTube channel that has my reel that became outdated as soon as I put it up, because I put that reel up right before I got to Hollywood. It's literally made a reel oh cool, now I have an outdated reel immediately. But it's youtube.com/one4u-show, ONE4 show, which has a lot of my old streams and my old content I used to put out. Who knows if I'll start streaming video games again, but it'll go up there if I do.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Demetrius Johnson, the former UFC flyweight champion, has made a hell of a living for himself on Twitch.
Yeah.
And who says that we can't have a wrestling equivalent in handsome Hassan here? I'm just saying. It could happen. Who knows? But dude, thank you for your time. This is amazing.
I appreciate you having me very much.
No, man. This is a pleasure's all mine, and I love the fact that somebody that has literally just taken every opportunity that presents itself and just walking through those doors.
It's one of the things you learn. You get in where you fit in, especially as a non-wrestler. get in where you fit in. You know, like take those opportunities because you never know what they'll lead to. You know, that's why I've not just been commentating and announcing. That's why I referee occasionally too, and like, you know, sometimes maybe have been in a giant turkey suit. You'd never know. But you take whatever opportunity you can get, you know?
Absolutely. And, I mean, kind of to that championship wrestling from Hollywood kind of ethos and what have you, another guy that's kind of in the trenches with you, that's getting the shine from NWA and championship wrestling from Hollywood, is CXF's own Jonathan King. One of the, you know,
a lot of our photos and stuff
right,
like that
absolutely.
too, yeah.
One of the stellar combat sports reporters and commentators that there is, and follow him at The Clinch Report. But he's kind of prolayed his love of pro wrestling as well at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So shout out to John King, shout out to the other John King, who's also at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, as well as Dave Marquez. We'd be remiss not to thank Uncle Dave there. And let's get some shout outs out of it.
Shout out, like if you wanna learn and pursue your dream of being a pro wrestler, highly suggest Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, SantinoBrothers.net. Look up their one-day training class. If it wasn't for their one-day training course, I wouldn't have even stepped into pro wrestling just in general. So, shout out there. Shout out to, I don't know, anybody who I know who's watching. It could be my friend Edward, Dominic, Leanne, Kat, all them. They could be watching. Shout out to Shouting Out. For people who just like to shout out.
There you go. Yeah, because those people don't get enough credit.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know who you are if you're those people. Status quo.
Shout out to Toei Animation. Please do an English dub of Tiger Mask W that I would like to be on.
Ooh, yeah, and you know, you can't mention Tiger Mask anything without mentioning the great. See, there's glass breaking here.
Stone Cold's coming.
Yeah, Austin's
he's
coming.
Gonna come in here and beat
the
crap out of us.
We're not too far from 316 Gimmick Street.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm scared. I think I wet myself a little bit.
It's fine. I'm just going to throw you into the stunner and run.
Thank you, Shane McMahon. Right
yes.
on. Yeah, right on. Oh, God, I'm going to die. Anyway, this is According to Woods with Adanan and Kureishy. Thank you again for joining us, and we are out.